So John contacted us. He is an on-the-money viewer, and he said he observed that many small businesses, of course, got lots of help during the pandemic, and they're still trying to recover and pay back from that help. Some took large bounce-back loans. John was saying he was thinking about taking a bounce-back loan, but he wasn't quite sure how he would pay it back. How's it panned out for small businesses? Are they all having to pay back? Are they paying back? Is the government chasing people who aren't paying back?
At the moment, there's more money paid back than they thought.
Oh, OK.
Because, of course, there were lots of small businesses that borrowed bounce-back loans, assumed they'd never need to use them, had them there as a safety blanket,
That's right,
just in case they needed them, and now they're paying those back in quite large numbers. There are people who are discovering it's very difficult to pay back because, of course, as you heard Mark just say, the support that they got during the pandemic was great. They got support from the public as well. But now, of course, the public's strapped for cash. So there's lots of small businesses discovering income isn't coming through. And they don't have as much income as they expected. And therefore, they're slow about making their repayments.
And we know a lot of these small business owners, we were all expecting a V-shaped recovery. As soon as we get through COVID, there'll be a big bounce back. It'll be happy days.
And look what happens.
Keep your business going and there'll be a wall of demand.
And in normal circumstances, that might well have been the case. But now, of course, with energy prices rising, wages rising and staff shortages, and this is something really important. Small businesses are struggling to get the staff, and if you don't have the staff, you can't deliver for your customers. So, of course, a lot of people are worrying about repaying the bounce-back loan. You can ask for time to pay under the pay-as-you-grow scheme. So as you grow your business back,
that's good to know.
You can then start paying more flexibly.
So you can get some reprieve. The government will let you stage those payments.
Exactly.
Contingent on how much your business grows.
Yeah. And you can extend the length of time over which you repay from 6 to 10 years. And you can have up to 3 periods of 6 months when you pay the interest only. And not the capital of the loan. So I think the message is talk to your lender as quickly as you possibly can. Don't wait until you're in trouble with this, and don't lie awake at night worrying about it, because we know there are an awful lot of people struggling with mental health out there because of this.
Indeed. I mean, I must say it was a huge business continuity loan, the so-called C-bill loans, the support measures. There was a lot of fraud. The government was getting money out the door, but I do think, on balance, a lot of businesses were saved. We've got another question here from Dan. Dan emailed gbviews at gbnews.uk to say, Liz, will there be any help or concessions due to the impact of rising fuel and energy costs for small businesses? Fuel costs are severely impacting transport at the moment, and the consumers don't fully understand the pricing increase. Now, we've tried to highlight this on the show for months and months, as you know. Households do have an energy price cap. It still means the price rises are steep on their utility bills. We just heard there from Mark Bridgen, a successful publican. He owns his own pub. He's absolutely all in, everything he's got in that business. And his utility bill's going up from 35 grand to 100 grand in a year.
But the question for me is, does he have anything left over to give him a salary to take home to pay the household bills? And this is what we're beginning to see. Small business owners with nothing left over once they've paid the business bills to give the household an income. And it's really, really difficult. I can't say what ministers will decide to do.
And that's not your remit.
It's not my remit. But it really helps to have the insight from people like Dan getting in touch with you, because then I can pass the insight on. What I do, one thing that he did say that really struck a chord with me is that customers don't fully understand the pricing increase. So if you go to buy something and it's 10 quid more this week than it was 2 weeks ago, you are extremely perplexed by that and thinking, how can it be that prices are going up so high? And this is what's stymieing small businesses, because they don't know, can I absorb the prices? Is there any way I can cut my costs? Is there anything innovative I can do to cut the fuel costs of delivery? And we're beginning to see lots of innovative small businesses getting together, setting up, collaborations whereby they actually deliver together, and all sorts of. And this is what small businesses are so good at. They're so resilient. And as Justin said, we need to nurture them, because they are going to drive us out of this recession. Is there any way that you can get together with other businesses to keep your costs down rather than having to pass it on to your customers, because customers ain't got the money to spend either?
Now, I know, your remit is to, as Small Business Commissioner, the issue you focused on most is late payment, but you do also have access to ministers. You pass on concerns, you know, just like you did when you were a journalist, just like I do. It's part of our job. We talk to ordinary people out there in the marketplace and so on. I personally think the government will introduce some kind of cap for businesses, their energy bills at some point. And just finally and briefly, Liz, Robert asked, will debt collection show up on my credit score if it wasn't my fault? A lot of small business owners are really worried about their credit score, aren't they? Their ability to raise finance.
Of course.
A bill might go unpaid, but it might be contested. They may feel that the bill was unfair.
And I think the understanding about what the credit score is a bit skewed here too. It's not down to fault. It's a historical document. What's your payment history? It's not looking at why you weren't able to make those payments. So it will affect your credit score.
That's rough, isn't it? Because
people who are lending will take decisions based on what they see. Other small businesses will have a look to see if you're a good payer.
Yeah.
If they're thinking about whether or not to work with you, so there's something in that as well. If there's a mistake on there, please get in touch with the Credit Reference Agency and get it corrected.